Any other questions? Janine?
Good evening. My name is Janine Councilman. I'm an attorney with the Rhode Island Center for Law and Public Policy. And I came to the organization actually as a VISTA volunteer. And like many of the now employees at RICLAPP, we did start as volunteers because people were very committed to the issue, which is that a large number of people in our state cannot afford attorneys, which means that what could be simple issues to resolve at an early stage is now turning into crises. A companion study in Massachusetts showed that of the low-income population there are 2.5 unmet legal needs annually. So you can imagine what that looks like for those families who have very little to survive on and then also attempt to address these larger legal issues. The work we do is sometimes what we describe as cowboy attorney work because we are road warriors for Rhode Island, crossing 95 to go north, which is a big deal because I'm from the East Bay. And we do that because we know that if we don't go to them, that people will basically suffer in isolation. So it's difficult to talk to attorneys. We have a bit of a stereotype. So by going into the community organizations that people are already familiar with, we create that, we build on the familiarity of that senior center, that community action center or hospital, and create that friendly environment so that we can have really honest and candid conversations. In 2011, I became the program director for the Medical Legal Partnership at Hasbro Children's Hospital. And this is an on-site program, so I am provided with an office. I have a paralegal, I work with law students, and I serve the pediatric clinic population there. That is a mainly Medicaid population, so we're talking some of the lowest income Rhode Islanders in Providence and elsewhere. The work that we mainly did was on, or what we do is on housing and family law, and it isn't just a single, well-defined legal issue that somebody presents to me during these client meetings. I think as attorneys, you know, you become part therapist during some of these sessions. But in our clients' cases, there could be easily 3, 4, 5 multiple legal issues. So we would take holistic approaches to address what is going on. But at the end of 2013, our main funding source, which was through that lead paint settlement, did run out, so we've had to reduce our services to consultation. So we are there twice a week despite the major loss of funding we had, but it has meant that we aren't able to meet those needs that we had in the way previously accustomed to. So this passage of the bill would help to make RICLAPP sustainable in the future. It would help to continue our model where we are reaching out to Foster, Gloucester, and to Westerly, and to the great lands of Cheverton and Little Compton, so that every single Rhode Islander has access to an affordable attorney. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Janine? Representative Almeida.
For any one of y'all, so I see you reached out to St. Martin de Porres, so I'm glad to see that. Do you reach out to all the community centers, or is it just for senior citizen centers?
May I answer? Well, no, we reach out to as many centers as we can. It's more a capacity issue than a designation of a demographic, for example. So our first outreach effort was senior-centric, if you will, but over the course of time, well, most of all, senior centers are largely community centers as well anyway. But what we've been able to do is go with EBCAP down in Newport, for example, and open up a broader, if you will, community clinic. And up in Foster, that's a community clinic. Martin de Porres is kind of both, I think. And we have also linked up with a school for special needs kids in Providence as well. So that's an on-site. So that actually might go up to 10 recently. So I'm not sure if that's responsive, but.
No, you did right. Just the last part.
Sure.
Have you ever worked with CCAP, or formerly known as ProCap?
We actually, I know Paula McFarland pretty well. So as a member of the Rhode Island Community Action Association, I know Jeannie McGonigal. We have had people referred to us from CCAP and also ProCap in its first and second iteration and so on. So we try to develop, one of our problems realistically, and I think Representative Agello actually hit on it a little bit, is where does your money come from? And the question that I have to wrestle with is how far can my money go without stripping the gears of the organization? So this legislation would not only stabilize us, but help us expand and also serve as dollars to leverage other dollars. Because when they see a sustainable, when foundations, for example, see a sustainable stream of money coming in, they see us as a better bet in which to invest than maybe if we didn't have this. So this not only is, this will pay dividends well beyond what we can calculate here. I'm certain of that.
Thank you.
If I could expand just very briefly on one point, that just to go to your first question, we never turn anyone away. So if a 40-year-old or even a 20-year-old went to a senior center and saw us, we would still service that person. There is no cutoff on age. Being a senior center, probably 90% of the people who come through those senior centers will be elderly, but it's not going to be 100%. Every senior center has at least some community outreach beyond just the seniors themselves.
And one more point, just that that while the senior center was where we initially first went out to the state, as part of the work that I've been doing, I work with the Department of Health. I work with community organizations like the Childhood Action Project. I work with code inspectors. I work with other CAP agencies. So as we've grown, as our expertise has grown, so have our relationships, which means our referrals come from a very broad, diverse background. And because we have no phone system, you literally call us, you get an attorney. Right. There's no secretary. So we're very accessible to our referral agencies.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Representative Walsh?
You present a very good case for your organization. It certainly is needed, and thank you for doing this. However, how many lawyers do you have available?
Currently, so I'd be happy to, this actually is a great question. We have 3 paid lawyers, well, 3 lawyers on staff, as Ryan indicated, that I don't get a salary, and I'll address that in a minute. We also have currently 4 volunteer lawyers, one who hopefully will come on and make it 5 next week. These are guys who want to give back to their communities and looking for a way to do it. Some of these have been, as Janine and Ryan point out, their first exposure after law school. So we've had people relocate from Maryland and have sat for the Rhode Island Bar and are working with us. We have the young man who you'll hear from Northeastern coming down here, and this is his first engagement. So, but the other thing we also have, we have a series of attorneys in the traditional bar, if you will, who handle issues that we do not handle. If we see a criminal issue, we refer it out, if we bankruptcy and so on. So by knitting together this kind of, it looks, until you actually see it, it looks like a patchwork quilt. But it's very, very effective because we have, one of the things I think streamlines us, 2 things, and I'm going to give her a shout out because she's not here and she won't kill me. Donna Powers is my admin and she makes the wheel run. And secondly, we have a flat organization. We're all collaborators and colleagues. We're not hierarchical at all.